Hello again, it's Cons, and we are back for another episode of Does It Stack, which is apparently a name I'm sticking with. Today we're going to be testing whether or not True Razor Sharp, Nargacuga's 3-piece set bonus, and Razor Sharp, the skill that comes from either Lunastra's weapons or the charm that you can get from the Iceborne questline, whether or not they stack. We're going to be using Ruinous Catastrophe, Nargacuga's Insect Glaive. It doesn't require handicraft, which frees up the slots and the charm. I mean, it's just a convenient way to test, to be honest with you. It has a nice long chunk of white sharpness. I do want to get one thing out of the way beforehand. If we'll take a look at the lunastra weapons and the charm, those actually don't stack. I'll just demonstrate to you why. You can see here I have the Razor Sharp charm and the lunastra weapon sticks, which has Razor Sharp. You can see it's sort of the bottom of the weapon description. It has Razor Sharp / spare shot, and the same thing with this charm. And as you can see in the skill list, it only appears once. It only goes up to level 1. This is just like any other skill. These both give 1 point of Razor Sharp, and it only goes up to 1. It's like if I had, I don't know, 6 geologist decorations. You know, the extra 2 don't do anything. It's the same thing here. Even though it's a little bit unconventional, they're both armor skills and they both function as normal armor skills. So these 2 don't stack with each other. So you don't actually need to test Lunastra's weapons. It's just the set bonus and the skill itself. I'll show you the 4 sets we're going to be using. We have them here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. They all use Ruinous Catastrophe, the Nargacuga Insect Glaive. I don't have Master's Touch on any of the sets, obviously. The only things that are affecting the sharpness, my skill list here, no skills. Razor Sharp. Evasion Window does nothing. Peak Performance does nothing, Stamina Surge does nothing, Stealth does nothing, Piercing Shots, Geologist, Speed Crawler. None of the skills I have should be influencing the results of my test at all. And then the same set but with Razor Sharp as the charm. These are it. We've got 2 without the set bonus and 2 with the set bonus. And in both cases, 1 without Razor Sharp, 1 with Razor Sharp. Without and with. The charm, I mean. And so we're going to test all 4 of these. What we're going to do is we're going to run up against the training pole and just use the Insect Glaive Idle X combo until we run out of white sharpness and count the number of hits in each. And we'll compare those 4 instances. I might do the test twice each, I'm not sure yet. But anyway, I will cut now to some footage of those 4 things playing, and so I shall see you in a bit. Or maybe I'll have overlay talking over it, I'm not sure. Anyway, either way, love you. Currently, all 4 runs are playing at the same time. They're all labeled, so you should be able to tell which is which. One thing you might notice if you zoom in really closely and pay very careful attention is that the numbers don't entirely line up. And that is because I use the Kinsect. I use the Kinsect to get red buff to make this process quicker. And what that does is it adds a few to the training area's total hit count, which is why my numbers, I've subtracted those Kinsect attacks. And so my numbers differ slightly from what you'll see on screen, but my numbers are more accurate. Secondly, you'll notice that well, I guess you won't notice it just yet, but in a few seconds or in a moment or so, you'll notice that the run with Razor Sharp and True Razor Sharp actually ends quicker, and by quite a bit. Unfortunately, this is just an anomalous result and it happens. I don't believe it's bugged, I'm pretty sure they're the same. However, that does bring me on to the conclusion, and I'll give it to you now rather than making you wait. Which is essentially, as a TLDR, it doesn't make any difference. Razor Sharp and True Razor Sharp do not stack, unfortunately. True Razor Sharp overwrites the effects of Razor Sharp. You might be wondering, why am I even bothering with this video? I think... Well, firstly, I put like 5 hours into it. Or no, more than that. Probably like 15 or so. Which is hard to explain, but anyway. I put in a while into the video, so I want to release it. But at the same time, I also think it's important that we show the negative results in science. I calling this science, I sound like some sort of... like I'm on a soapbox or something. And we are onto the maths. So the first thing you might notice is these numbers are slightly different from what I had on the previous slide. That is because I took this sample a bunch of times, sort of 3 or 4 times each, and then took an average. These numbers are slightly more appropriate. That means there's sort of a total sample of like maybe 1,000 hits each. What you would notice is that 110 hits when you don't have True Razor Sharp or Razor Sharp, so the base sharpness of Ruinous Catastrophe seems to be in the region of 110. Once you have Razor Sharp, I found an average of 235. You would probably expect 220, but it's how the dice rolls go. Remember that Razor Sharp's works based on probability. It's not a flat 50% reduction. It's every hit that you make has a half chance of not consuming your sharpness. In the large scale, it has the exact same effect, but in the small scale, you see small sort of perturbations like this. Now, with true razor sharp, we ended up with 380 as our average. If you do 110 divided by 380 to work out the probability, that becomes 30%, and so I'm fairly comfortable saying that true razor sharp, somewhere in the region of a third to a quarter. You know, if razor sharp halves your sharpness use, then true razor sharp divides it by 3 or 4. That's quite a big range, I understand. And if I had to pick one number, I would say 30% rather than a third or a quarter. But this gives you a decent indication of vaguely where it is. And I took quite a few samples here, so the numbers are reasonably accurate. Now, with both the skills active, I know it looks like the number's gone down, it really hasn't. This is just how probability works. 380, 367, these are completely within the realms of possibility of just being exactly the same as each other. And again, if I had to hazard a guess, I would say they definitely are the same. Like, to any reasonable sort of statistical certainty, you can't say these two things are different. So I feel comfortable saying that true razor sharp overwrites the effects of razor sharp, which is a shame because I was hoping for like something cool to say, you know, oh, if you stack them, it's 10% the sharpness, and I could put that in big letters in the thumbnail. I'll find something to put on there to make it nice and clickbaity. No, yeah, I don't have anything particularly interesting to report, unfortunately, but at least now we know the number for true razor sharp, somewhere between a third and a quarter, somewhere around 30%. You know, that's some progress we made at the very least. It's quite a big boost over razor sharp, actually. If razor sharp makes 50% of your attacks use sharpness, and true razor sharp makes 30%, that's almost doubly as powerful. Makes your sharpness last sort of twice as long. If we invert the numbers, if we won over this, that'll give you an indication of how much longer your weapons will last. True razor sharp makes it last twice as long, and true razor sharp makes it last more than 3 times as long. So that is a pretty significant buff. I don't know if I'd run Nargacuga for this skill. I don't know, it's a little bit restrictive and you're losing out on a lot of DPS skills. Plus, Master's Touch is quite easy to get in with Teostra. I don't know. Again, as with the previous video, I'm not here to tell you what's meta and what you should and what you shouldn't run. I'm here to give you the information so that you can make a sort of more accurate decision, you know, one that fits your playstyle better. And I hope I've done that. I hope this video's worked out for you. I hope it made sense. I'm sorry I didn't have anything bombastic to show you, anything particularly interesting. But at the very least, I hope you gained something from this. Alright, thank you for watching. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Oh, like and sub and comment and stuff. I'm supposed to ask you for that. If you made it this far, please post, oh, what's this? Notices your bulge in the comments. I'm sorry. I might cut this out. Bye-bye.